Hello. So September is here, and the other night I noticed an almost like chill in the air. So there we go, one can certainly feel the difference. So somebody the other day asked me about the tomatoes, how they are getting on. So many of you will be aware that I've not indeed given the tomatoes, the tomato plants, the attention that they did indeed deserve. But next year I intend to do the tomatoes very differently. But honestly speaking, I'm happy with the crop that I'm getting in relation to the effort that I have put into the plant. So let's have a look. So I grew them here in these grow bags, which came from Pound Stretcher. Very reasonable price. I think it was £1.49 per grow bag. So I was quite happy with the price. And you can see I've got plenty of green ones still on there, decent sized ones like that. And I had about 5 or 6 tomatoes, I believe they were variety Moneymaker, the other day, come off of the plants. So I'll just show you what sort of thing that's happening. There you go, like that one, look, which something has had a go at and eaten, but never mind. What I'll do is just cut that bit off and eat the rest of the tomato, so that's not a problem. And here, look, ripening up. There we go, nice one here. Let's have a look. This one feels borderline. Oh, yep, see, something's had a go at that as well, but that's, that's what happens, isn't it? Now down here, tomato there. It's a money maker. And many of these varieties are Eastern European varieties, and tomatoes in Eastern Europe, they have many different varieties of very interesting tomatoes, which I really like. They use the big ones like the beef tomatoes, and they stuff them. They stuff them with sort of various things, and are very nice indeed. And oh, look at those, they're nice. We'll have a look at those in a minute. But you may have heard me speak about my love for beetroot soup. And a lady I know, she's a Polish lady, and she makes some of the most beautiful beetroot soup that you really could have. And somebody has asked me for the recipe, so I'm going to try and get that for you. It's really worth looking into, particularly if you grow your own beetroot. Nothing like it, you sit there in the evening or whatever with some absolutely delicious beetroot soup that's come from your own beetroot. It's just beautiful. So what else have we got here regarding the tomato? So we've got plenty more to ripen. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, Dan, you should have known better about your approach to the tomatoes this year. And yes, and I do know better. But at the end of the day, when one is busy, one cannot do everything, and it just does not work like that. But next year will be another year. Someone's had a go at that one. Next year will be a different year, and I can take a different approach. And I already know how I'm going to approach the tomato growing next year. And in fact, I know how I'm going to be approaching many different things next year. So regarding tomatoes, providing the weather doesn't get too cold, these should ripen continually into late October, maybe even into November. So we're just the first day of September today. So September, we've got another month, 6 weeks, maybe even 2 months or more in here of ripening these tomatoes. So I should indeed have a late crop of tomatoes, which is a thing that I like, extending the season, and a polytunnel will give you the advantage of doing that. So yeah, quite happy actually with how the tomatoes are doing, and they benefited very much from the liquid seaweed feed that I put on them the other day. Say the other day, a few weeks ago, and now it's probably time for another dose. Right, so the runner bean plants, these are past their best now. So what I'm going to be doing is sometime this week taking them up and composting them. So this is one compost bin. This is now more or less full. I got the old bit of guinea pig manure in there, and kitchen waste, things like that, grass clippings as well. This will be absolutely delicious compost. I'll leave this in here for a few years probably, and it's gone down significantly, and I'm just going to keep adding to it, making some lovely beautiful compost in order to feed the garden in up and coming seasons. So yeah, things like this, look, this squash plant here, which broke because of the weight of the squash. You probably, if you saw the video the other day. But this is going to be composted. This will contain nitrogen, and again will continue to just enrich the garden in times to come. So I've started a new compost, new compost bin here. So I'm going to start adding to this and just creating more and more and more. This bin here, never mind the slugs around the top, what I'm probably going to be doing is getting a load of horse manure and putting that in there, let that stew away for a good few seasons, and then start to add that to the garden. So I'm thinking very much about getting into compost production again, and the up and coming time of year is perfect to start thinking about that, because things aren't growing quite so fast now, and it can leave a bit of time for the creation of infrastructure for more gardening success. Cool, yeah, now in here is the about a week or so in here of the nettle compost, not nettle compost, sorry, stinging nettle tea that I'm making. Now it's really starting to smell pungent now, which is one good reason that I keep the lid on, as well as the safety aspect. I don't like big empty containers of water in one's garden because of accidents, and the kid kicks a football in this garden or whatever and comes over and gets it, and there's a empty container of water. I always like to think of safety, which I think is important, but they're starting to get very nutritious in there now. So what I do is I just put the lid on, and not only does it stop the smell, it's also safer. So this is going to be part of my sort of nutritional crop powerhouse here. And so we're going to have manure in this one and more compost being made here. So yeah, really going to be getting heavily into compost production. Now, regarding the runner beans, so the plants will contain vast amounts of nitrogen, and I did know a man, I still do know him, and what he does is he's grown his runner beans in the same crop for years and years, and what he does is just end of the year clears the plants and buries them, and then following years he keeps growing the runner beans in the same place, and he's done this for a very long time now, as long as I've known him, and his runner beans are amazing, so could be some truth in what he does there. The tea plant really is coming on. I'm giving this plenty of water. Tea plants are known to like wet and warm summers, so it's really getting in there and doing well. Okay, so there we go. So still ploughing on with things, lots of projects to come. I'm probably going to be getting on the old internet tonight on the Real Seed Company and getting some more seeds. So I'll be posting a video on that either when I do it or shortly after. But if you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. See you next time.